As you all know, there are several candidates for the annual and prestigious Golden Potato dev-strikeability Award. Many candidates in World of Warships Legends exist for this award, many of them British battleships like HMS Incomparable or HMS Incompetent, as I sometimes call it. But I think the perennial winner of this prestigious award is usually HMS Marlborough, Tier 8 premium British battleship, probably the most dev-strikeable battleship in the game. If you ever see one floating around on the enemy team, you should definitely shoot at its broadside with your armor-piercing shells any chance you get, because you'll likely be rewarded with tons of damage and maybe even the coveted DevStrike medal. This thing can get blown out of the water quicker than some cruisers can if you're not careful with it. But if you get lucky, as we're going to do in this battle, then you can deal a respectable amount of damage and kind of have fun in the thing. Mostly the reason I took this ship out for a spin, and I realize I'm a bit late to the party, is because it got a buff in the July update. Although, pause for a second, because you saw me ping the map there. Instantly, I was pretty unhappy with the blue team's positioning. You can see all of the battleships except me are converging in the center cap that we spawn with, which makes no sense, honestly, to me. And then we've got our two friendly destroyers heading into the Charlie cap together with no support. I thought, well, that's not great. But turns out it's going to work out all right. Those battleships are eventually going to move, and those two destroyers, or at least one of them, there's two destroyers in this battle. It might be one of the guys next to us. You can see that destroyer there, but there's two of them that are really going to carry this game. And I just realized that's Fletcher over there, so he's not one. It's those two DDs on the other side of the map in the Charlie cap. They are really going to be responsible for the lion's share of work here. But Marlborough, well, you can see we've got 28,000 damage and counting, thanks to the 4 fires we've lit so far, most of them on USS Iowa, who probably didn't read the loading screen that says rushing down the center of the map is a poor tactic. Maybe he'll learn. He goes down as the first blood in this battle, and then, what do you know, we've got 2 enemy destroyers over here, Smoland and whatever that was that we just missed. Torpedoes are going to be coming through that gap, so we're not going to go through it. And it seems that along with the Smoland, well, there's a Flandre there, there's a cruiser, I think a torpedo cruiser, Harbin or something like that. So yeah, we're not going through the gap. We're going to use this island to turn around, shield our broadsides from the Flandre and everything else over there, and then start kiting away from this flank because it's full of red ships. Now, Marlborough, in the July 2026 update, just got a small buff. We should talk about that now before the action resumes here as we take a shot at Hawk. According to the Ministry of Balance, the main battery shell grouping was increased by 10.7%. It has 1.55 sigma base. And the HE shell damage was increased to 5,500. 1.55 sigma base is tragically terrible. But it was worse prior to that buff. And, well, we have 16 356mm guns, so we do have some kind of accuracy by volume. And I think, well, the extra accuracy does help, I suppose. The extra damage from the HE is pretty good, too. You can get a lot done with it. Although I would not really call this a good ship still. I think I remember back in the day, it was December of 2022, I believe, that Marlborough first became a campaign ship, and you had a choice. You could pick this thing, or you could pick the Marco Polo, which is a ship that I still don't like, even to this day in 2026. And I think I recommended picking the Marlborough just because I wasn't a fan of the Marco Polo. I don't know if I still stand by that. Maybe. I had a lot of fun in this battle. You can see Flandre comes around the island, and he's like 4 kilometers from us. Typically, you don't think of Marlborough in close brawling range like this, but for one reason or another, Flandre doesn't really want to shoot at us. In fact, he wants to shoot at us so little that we're able to turn here and get the front turrets on target toward his bow. There's a perma fire, I believe. We're up to 71,000 damage, And now I guess Flandra is maybe going to shoot at us. He's turning to get his guns on target, but oh, look, there's a Magi or something behind us at full HP. I guess better to shoot at that. And yeah, Flandra goes down. He goes back to port. There's one of the enemy DDs over there, Z-23. Got to be mindful of him. And there's still some DD that's hot on our tail. Meanwhile, the Blues have lost 3 ships, the Reds have lost 4, so we are ahead on kills and points. Those 2 DDs, who had no support on the other side of the map, did manage to take the Charlie cap. I think they cross-torpedoed a red battleship in order to do it. And now, well, they're heading back in this direction, or one of them is. The other one's going to Delta, which I don't think is a bad move. Definitely spread out the 2 remaining DDs and get vision on more parts of the map for the remainder of the blue team. Harbin over there, smoking up. Don't think we're going to be able to get him. And we are perma-spotted by this Smollend, who decides to open fire. Maybe not a great idea when there's 16 HE shells from a British battleship within 8 kilometers of you, but we miss. I think that is thanks in part to the Smollend's special, really fast engine boost. He just runs out of the path of the shells. And what do you know? We've got HMS Hawk out there playing the one line of the map and patrolling the border. Not great for me if I want to push toward these destroyers or anything, because then we're going to have to give broadside to Hawk. And he does have hard-hitting AP guns that could absolutely delete us, but also we have to worry about eating torpedoes on the bow from this Z-23. So we're going to turn to the left here, put this island between ourselves and the DD to avoid torps. In doing so, we have to flash broadside to the Hawk, but for one reason or another, he's not going to take advantage of it. So we get a little bit lucky. Rear turrets of Justice out on the Smollend, and Justice dispenses a fire that will be lethal because the Smollend apparently does not have DCP available. The damage counts up, and there goes Smollend for our second kill of the game. I think, technically speaking, we got the kills on 2 out of 3 of the enemy destroyers, so probably pretty useful to the blue team. Another HE salvo out at Pommern, and I do have to say, even though Marlborough's gun power can deal a lot of damage over the course of the game, I know it's only 100k right now, but it'll get a little bit better before it's over. Even though you can deal respectable damage from these guns, the firing angles are absolutely atrocious. And I can't have it be understated just how easy this ship is to dev-strike. I found one of these things in the water once, playing USS Wisconsin. It was giving me flat broadside for no reason and shooting HE at me, and I shot it once with the Wisconsin's main battery guns. Instant dev-strike, it was gone. You really do have to be careful if you're playing this thing, or if you are not careful, then you have to get lucky like we did in this match. Hawk, I don't know what he's doing out there. I think he beached himself on that rock. We hit him twice with the HE for, I think, a double perma-fire, and he's so broadside that I feel like we can switch to this AP and probably get some good results too, if we, calculate the lead properly, which I don't think we did here. Nope. And had we done that and sunk the Hawk, there might have been a Kraken up for grabs here, but as it stands, Hawk still floats, main battery is reloaded. We'll take the shot now, but we've got that other friendly battleship still surviving next to us, and I think he's got better shell velocity than we do. Or maybe the Amagi all the way in the back of the map does. He takes out the Hawk, we don't get the kill, but as you can see, there's still Pommern and Harbin left alive, so potential for a Kraken here, but it's all for naught. Instead, we can just farm the broadside of a German battleship, ideally with AP, but we'll send the HE out first since it was chambered. And, well, I suppose the accuracy is noticeably better than this thing used to be. 1.55 Sigma is still tragic and terrible, although with the commander build, we do have it up to 1.63, which is, I suppose, not the all-time absolute worst Sigma you could ever have in World of Warships Legends. There's the AP. I don't think it gets great results on the Pommern. And AL Harbin out, well, okay, it gets good enough results that we get the high caliber medal, so that's nice. A.L. Harbin out there, though, I bet this guy has a smoke screen. He's going to shoot us with the HE. He's going to light us on fire. Not like we care. Nobody shot at us through this entire battle. I don't know why either. We were very close to the enemy a lot of the time. Anyway, the HE against Harbin is perhaps not all that great, but we're back to the AP, especially for Pommern, because he comes around that rock. He decides angling doesn't matter, I guess, and, well, we'll test that theory. German battleship turtleback armor, does it make you invincible against tiny little guns like Marlborough has? No. No, in fact, that Pommern is back to port, and it's only A.L. Harbin left. So the red team loses this game, thanks in part to the amazing firepower of HMS Marlborough, but realistically, it's more like thanks to the two Chad Blue destroyers on this team. GG to both of you. Taking that Charlie cap with no support and then proceeding to play the rest of the game like this, just the best destroyer play you could probably ask for in random matchmaking like this. GG to both of them. I'll show you the commander build here too before we end. We have been running John Fisher with Kedrov because the turret traverse on this thing is terrible. 37 seconds with this Kedrov inspiration. It's like 45 without it. Feels bad. And of course concealment. 12.5 km with Kondo. Pretty respectable for tier 8. Helps you get closer to the action like we sort of did in this battle. Anyway, 160 something thousand damage done. 164,137. 2100 base XP, and as I said, the two Chad destroyers, Z46 and Kuniberti, they are numbers 1 and 2 on the leaderboard because they were really the ones that carried this match. All we did was provide damage support with HMS Marlborough, which, if you haven't played it in a long time, maybe try it. Maybe you could get a fun match like this, but probably most of the matches with this ship are not going to look this good. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.